Monday. But let's get Tomas Manglona, who's doing some stuff for us out in Saipan. Good morning, Tomas.
Good morning, Chris and Sabrina. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, thanks for coming on. So what kind of information do you have for us today?
Yeah, and so I reached out to Kevin Bautista, who's the press secretary for the CNMI governor, and he told me that as of March 24, the CNMI has submitted 4 specimens to the Guam Public Health Laboratory, and all have been processed as negative. And he also added that Guam's been designated as a testing facility for the U.S. Pacific Islands. And so I think that's new information that I received. I'm not sure if Guam was aware of, if that's been an announcement on Guam's end.
It hasn't. I know that this question and the information you're giving us is stemming from the info that we got a few days ago that when we get tests from Saipan, we're just sending them off to Hawaii.
Yes, and I think after yesterday, I did speak with Esther Muña, the CEO of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation, and she told me that the date of late April for the testing capabilities was incorrect. And then I reached out and reconfirmed, and FEMA still is saying that that is the correct date for late April. So I personally am a little confused about what the testing capability will be like in the CNMI based on these conflicting reports from different officials, but hopefully we'll get a clearer picture sometime soon. I know everyone's waiting for that answer.
What else is going on in the NMI, Tomas?
Yeah, I think I also wanted to share that the public school system did suspend in-person classes, and as of yesterday, Congresswoman Tina Sablan shared an update with regards to how learning is still going to happen off campus. And so the update that she shared with all the public was that learning packets will be developed for all of the public school system's 10,000 elementary, middle, and high school students. They said that the survey they released online showed about 11% of students in the CNMI do not have access to any technology or internet at home. So they're going to work on emailing these packets out and having parents pick up these packets for about the 10,000 students in the region. Also yesterday, the COVID-19 task force in the CNMI announced that they received $366,000 through the Office of Insular Affairs for personal protective equipment. And so those are some of the updates coming in as of late yesterday.
Wow, I wonder if we got any money from DOI. That's something we're going to have to ask. Okay, we did? Okay.
I think we ran something over the weekend.
Okay.
I saw a release.
Did you have any questions for Tomas Bree? Are you looking at something over there?
Yeah, I wanted to go. I was looking at some email that I got. It was not, but it's not for public dissemination for planning purposes.
Oh, great.
This was from Kevin Bautista.
Right.
Bree, I believe I did get that email as well. I think on background is they're working on streamlining communications at the governor's office and through the COVID-19 task force.
Right, and so have you been able to get all this info pretty easily, Tomas? Has the flow of information coming from the government and the NMI been satisfactory?
I think that the responses have been timely. I think, though, that there is a sense of people not necessarily being on the same page, which, might be a little troubling at this time. But I think that the government is reassuring and the health officials are reassuring that in the CNMI, even if there are no confirmed cases of COVID-19, the press secretary yesterday told me in an email that they're taking it seriously and treating the CNMI as if the virus is already here, even though there are no confirmed cases. And so that's the reassurance that was given out by the press secretary yesterday.
I'm sorry, you may have mentioned it earlier. Are there any PUIs or anyone under surveillance?
No, as I mentioned, the latest information we have right now is that as of March 24, the specimens that were submitted came back as negative, and so there have been no recent press releases or announcements about any new surveillance cases, as they're calling it here.
Are people taking social distancing and social isolation seriously on in the NMI, Tomas?
And I definitely have been. I haven't been out, so I can't give you a first-person account. But based on what I've been seeing on my friends and family's posts in Tinian, Rhoda, and Saipan, lots of people are staying at home, and because of the business closures after 1 p.m., some stores have even agreed to take phone orders after 1 p.m. and people can go to the grocery store and pick up, and someone will bring their groceries to their car after the 1 p.m. closure because of the directive that the governor gave out just a few days ago.
Okay, and so again, in the NMI, they've gone ahead and canceled school altogether. So there's going to be no classes for the rest of this school year.
Yes, and yesterday, of course, as I mentioned, they're going to replace that with homework packets for
Right.
the rest of the school year. Yeah.
I just heard all the kids in the NMI groan. Homework packets, what?
I know.
Yes, about 10,000 of their students.
All right. Yeah, it's not like Sergeant Tapau said, it's not a vacation, right?
It isn't. Yes, I know the beaches have noticeably been, empty, and folks are definitely staying home. But I think another concern people are having is because the business hours are from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. What we're seeing are crowded parking lots and crowded stores.
Yeah.
So that's another concern that folks are raising. And also keeping in mind that casinos are allowed to operate as, usual. So that's
What?
also something that is a bit odd. That
Whoa. Let's back that thing up. So the casino is open.
That's correct, yes. And we've seen Congressman Ed Probst go on Facebook raising eyebrows about this particular case.
Yeah, I've watched. I watched a little bit of one of his Facebook Live
Right.
posts. He's
a firebrand, I would say.
Yeah,
is what you're calling
feisty.
him. Yeah.
and
Well, that's definitely an interesting piece of information, Tomas.
Yes, I think a lot of people are just adjusting to this, new normal. I'm going to pull up the exact wording in terms of what casinos are able to operate during this time. I think that, again, the government yesterday reiterated that they're treating the situation as if it's already here in the CNMI. And
who's going to the casinos during this time? That's what I'm wondering.
yeah, I saw some comments online of people asking who still has money to go to the casino at this time is the question some have.
That's just crazy. Like we're able to open, but then who's going?
Right, yeah. This is why
Right,
they
it's
talk
just-
about the NMI, Tomas, is things like this. Okay. So, yeah, if you can sort that out, that's just a kind of a weird one. But we definitely wish you well, Tomas. You guys haven't had your first COVID-19 positive case, but from what you're saying, the governor, the administration, advising people to treat like it's already there.
Yes,
Treat it
that's
like
correct. And I know everyone's definitely staying at home as much as they can.
Thank you, Tomas.
All right.
Thank you.
Take
Okay,
care.
be safe,
Talk
wash
to you
your hands.
soon.
Right on. There you go. Tomas, did you have something there? I'm going to